Good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to season 11, episode 18 of Let's Have a Fefe. We are rolling right along. We are still your Wednesday night conversation for more than the last 10 years, if you can believe that shit. I am not Felicia, obviously. She's on her way. She'll be here shortly. I am Freddy Prinze Charming, and with me is our guest this evening, Holly Shoemaker, who is an amazing artist and all around badass. Because, yeah. And if you want to have more of Holly, which I'm sure you probably will after tonight's episode, make sure that you join our Patreon. Let me find my doohickey here. There we go. Patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe. And we have all the after show chats with all of our guests, extra videos, guest announcements beforehand, all the things. We'd like to thank our current patrons, Brandon, D, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Nicole, and Shannon. A very special thanks to Success Boutique, LC Designs, and Wigs of a Kind for supporting us this season. You can support us as well at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. All forms of monetary support and tipping are accepted. And at this point, I'll take fucking food stamps because soda is $8 for a 12-pack.
Ridiculous.
It's fucking stupid. This inflation is ridiculous. You can also text LHAF to 602-730-7379. And whenever Felicia is remembering, she will update you with show things and whatever else it is that she sends out, which I have honestly no idea. Not a clue, but do it anyway, because hey, you never know what you're gonna get. Maybe we'll do something fun. I don't know. And for those of you on the Facebook, you can click the little stars button thing at the bottom. We can earn like, I don't know, a few cents or something. I don't know how that works. Thank you, of course, to folks like DJ Image, Eddie Omega, Emily, and Laura Renfro for already sending us stars. We appreciate you. Let's see what is happening. You like my vest? It's actually like a leather vest, double-breasted. Found it at Goodwill. Figure it went with the whole Western vibe that I'm working with this evening.
It's like y'all-ternative.
I called it Cowboy Beep Boop. Get it? Because it's a robot. It's a robot. I'm funny. It's fine.
You're so funny.
I think I am.
You're hilarious.
I don't know. I find myself chuckling at myself on occasion. It's fine. My weekend was interesting. Saturday didn't do a whole lot. Just kind of like did stuff around the house, kind of took care of some things. Obviously did not clean up in here, but that's fine. Nobody can see what happens that side of the camera. Sunday was fun. I went to the Ren Fair. As part of like the whole like Kingdom of Melrose thing. It was like their gay day. So many rainbows everywhere. Like all the queers were out. It was so much fun. But I ended up leaving a key piece of my outfit at home.
Oh.
And you know when like you have things like planned out and then it just doesn't work, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, fuck this, fuck everything, and everything is stupid and I hate it. I was in like, it was a weird funk because like I already had issues trying to figure out how to go in drag to the Ren Fair.
Right.
Like, we know this. This was, my brain had short-circuited and it was not working. And so I'm like, and it was really cool because I was doing like a whole like forest elf thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a little cape that was shaped in like a leaf, and it was dyed to match my boots. And it would have pulled the whole thing together.
Gotcha.
And I was so fucking mad. And it was just like, I don't know. It was just annoying. It was like sitting on my bed. It was right there when I got home. So annoyed. It was like so thrown off. But it was fun. We got to go hang out with Prince Simon at the Midday Joust. It was all the good things, you know. So Sunday night, great. Get home, kick back, relax. And then all of a sudden, for no reason, I get hit with the worst fucking migraine ever.
Ew.
Like, it was bad. Like, I figured... Like, we hadn't eaten yet, so we were sitting there, we were waiting for our food to get here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get the headache. And I'm like, it's feeling a little queasy. I probably just need to eat. Because like I hadn't eaten a lot during like I had food, but it wasn't a lot of food.
It was like, Ren Fair food.
I had like steak on a steak and a grilled corn and some stuff. So I had like some substantial food, but it'd been a while. I've also been walking forever too. So I'm like, all right, probably just need to eat. It's fine. And so, side note, we ordered from Postino's, and I had to chuckle because the their menu on Uber Eats had all like the bruschetta boards, right? It had all the all these things, and then there was one that was labeled fish pesto. The image that conjures up for me does not. I knew what it was: salmon with pesto, but fish pesto, really? Fish
like
pesto,
this green fish paste.
Like that's all. Like this, like Vegemite, like fish paste shit. Like that's all I was envisioning, and I was like, "What the hell?" It's very bizarre. But so ate, no problem, and then like the headache just kept getting worse, and I'm like, "Okay, I just need to go to bed." I had a lot of sun. I'm a ginger, so. I take a Tylenol, take all my meds, start laying down, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Made a beeline to the bathroom, and I spent pretty much the entire night in, like, the fetal position or throwing up.
Ugh.
It was awful. I ended up moving out to the couch because I'm like, I can't keep doing this in here. Like, my poor partner, like, just not gonna... And so, got up, went to the couch, and I'm, like, kind of curled up, like, 2 shots of Imitrex. And anti-nausea meds, and it took until about 4:00 in the morning for me to stop throwing up.
Yikes!
It was not fun. I was awful. I was not okay with that. So Monday I spent dying on the couch. I didn't go to work. I was like, no. Yeah, it was not ideal. Then how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. On Friday evening, we went to the All One House Exotic Show opening, and my spouse Eric won a Critics' Choice Award.
Of course, he fucking did. Jesus Christ!
He's amazing.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, I just got to throw this out there. For those of you that don't know, Holly's house looks like an art gallery.
It's like if an art gallery and an oddities museum made a baby, that's our house.
You walk in and there's like these beautiful like oil paintings on the wall, and then you start talking and you're like, oh wow, these are really great. And it turns out her fucking husband painted all of them. So between her photography on the wall and his oil paintings, it's stupid and I hate them both. Continue.
So well, and then I think I had a shoot on Saturday, but I can't remember because slept.
You did. I think you sent pictures.
Did I? I've slept since then, so I can't remember these things.
Was that when you were doing? Was that with Lulu?
No, that was actually this past. That was that was Saturday. No, it's fine.
See, I can't remember shit. I'm like, I barely.
My brain.
I don't know. Like,
I can't remember one weekend from the other. My days are all mixed up. It's fine.
Sounds about right.
So, I had the shoot with Lulu on Saturday. And other than that, I think we just ran a few errands and pretty mellow and didn't really do anything else. I spent Valentine's Day editing.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
We don't do Valentine's Days, so there she is.
Oh, hey.
There she she's gotta get the microphone. I don't think we can hear you.
Maybe I didn't want you to hear me.
There we go.
Oh,
there we go. There you go.
I didn't want you to hear me.
You don't have any lights on. Are you sitting in the dark?
I have the light on all the way. That's the weird part.
Oh, that's very, very not bright. But it's fine. How was your weekend, Felicia, since you're here now?
Oh, it almost went light.
Almost. It's fine.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine.
It's probably all this pink. It's like, what is all this pink? And then
it doesn't know what it's doing. And it's not sure what.
There it goes. Kind of. Anyhow, hello everybody. Welcome. Hi, Holly.
Hello. How are you?
Good. My weekend? Ooh, okay. Let's see. So Saturday was, just a little bit of lazy about the house. I can't remember. We did some things, but I can't remember. Just like y'all, I was listening. And then on Sunday morning, I do as I always do, get up early to read books to children. And it turned out that it was a little different than we had expected. And we did not get to stay at Brick Road Coffee for long. I'm not going to go into much detail, but if you've been following along, you know. Um, and so what we decided very quickly was to leave there and then come do a drag story hour virtually. And that is what we did. I'm glad that people are out supporting Brick Road Coffee as well as Drag Story Hour. What is the next steps? I don't know, but I am glad that things are moving in what seems to be the right direction.
Hopefully.
For those that question my my choices in life, mind your business is the first business. Second business is that I choose to do the things that bring me joy and bring me peace. And this instance took away my peace, and in fact, affected me just a lot of it, but a little bit, to enjoy what I enjoy giving to people. And so when I can combine two things that I love, reading and drag, then and you mess with my peace, I have nothing to say to you, except for that I hope that you find the inner peace that you are looking for. As far as I always have a call to action for folks as they ask me what should I do. Don't ask me what should I do. Ask yourself what should you be doing.
Right.
Uh, Figure out how to be more forward active in your local government. Figure out how you can attend more of these. They keep calling them shows, but it's really not a show. It's an event. Um, Figure out how you can support local events like this. I know that we go to bars and come out in droves, but I never see folks come to the cafe or to the wherever we're at for these things. And being up in the early in the morning is not an excuse, because I see y'all in full on boot drag early in the morning, and that is I'm in full boot drag. You just have to get up and roll out of bed. But anyhow, so
I mean,
that's my
I
rant.
question
Welcome to my TED
some of
Talk.
your I question some of your life choices, but it usually has to do with like your foundation, and that's really about it. That's all other than that, I mean, the rest of it's fine. That actually is a great segue into my tip this evening. So tonight, because these are things that are actually happening. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about some of the anti-LGBTQ and anti-trans bills that are out there, and ways that folks can potentially help do things, whatever. So as of right now, there are 321 anti-LGBTQ bills that are being proposed around the country. 321. That's a lot. 11 of those are in Arizona. The majority of them, in general, are focused on the trans and now the drag communities, because why the hell not? You know, let's just pick whatever. It's unbelievable. On February 9th, the Tennessee Senate actually passed a bill that would ban drag in public places. That would include things like pride events, drag story hours, all that jazz. It would also ban drag shows in places with people under the age of 18. So it passed the Senate there. It's now heading to their House. And the way that Tennessee works, I don't know that it's not going to pass. And so
So I've had some time to think about this. So the drag bill is a way of going, it's like another avenue toward the trans folks.
It is. It absolutely is. Because I'll go ahead.
Because of the, our gender bending function. And we've talked about it many times. That's how people kind of discover, or they are one with maybe the emotion that they're feeling, or being connected. And so it's just it's amazing how many laws get passed when cis white men, old white men, get something up their panties or not, and they just go all.
And these are the same cis white men that usually get caught on Grindr.
Or George Santos.
Right. So in Arizona, Senate Bill 1698 would force drag performers who perform in front of children to register as sex offenders. There's two parts to the bill. One of it would be a class 4 felony, would have 3 years in prison if the minors were 15 or older. They were under 15 years of age. It would be a minimum of 10 years in prison.
Wow.
There's also like things in the bill that say like performing. The wording is always very vague in all of these things, and it has something to do with like performing and dressing in like the opposite of what your biological sex is, and blah blah blah. So think how many things that would affect.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that could even affect things that have nothing to do with drag per se. I mean, that could include like cosplay at conventions, for that matter, theater. I mean, like there's so many things to where these bills are so broad. And I mean, like, they're bullshit to begin with. But the fact that there's such broad language about it, it can, it's like, where would you even start to draw the line?
There's no, like, it would, everybody in the fucking world would be a fucking sex offender. Like, that's everybody. Everybody would be a sex offender. The entire, but think how fabulous the prisons would be.
I mean.
So there has, and it's always, it's not a problem until it bothers somebody else. So we're the target. But remember I said, like, when you go to Disneyland, you're not going to, like, question who's inside or who the Disney princess is. So wherever this is, I saw it on TikTok, but there's a Disney princess, or she cosplays as a Disney princess and goes to parties and, does things like paint fingernails and, all kinds of cutesy things. But this affects her and people like her because she wouldn't be able to dress up. She wouldn't be able to, go to parties and functions. She's losing her living, basically. And so it makes me feel like we're going back to this like plain black and white bill or something where
it's much bigger than people realize. Like, so Senator Wadsack, which I think is
appropriately
perfect fucking name. Perfect fucking name. Wadsack. So she said that bill was a result of meetings with the log cabin Republicans and the far right group Gays Against Groomers. I would like to remind folks right now that Sazerac, the restaurant in Central Phoenix, had no problem hosting the Log Cabin Republicans meetups for like over a year, and its owner is a Republican and a Trump supporter. So just remember that just because somebody happens to be a member of the LGBTQ community does not mean that they are on your side, and does not mean that they have no problem voting against their own fucking interests. So
wait, didn't they release something that said that they didn't know that the log cabin people
they
were
they did, but it was bullshit, because the Log Cabin Republicans literally posted screenshots of messages between them and Sazerac.
Oh.
Yeah, so Sazerac is full of shit. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for, I don't know, brunch
I did not know
places or whatever.
this.
Yeah, no, the Log Cabin Republicans were like, that's bullshit. They absolutely knew because we told them. So, and Log Cabin Republicans are like chickens for Chick-fil-A. Like it's fucking, I don't know. Also in Arizona, HB 2711 says that school administrators and teachers have to disclose information to parents, anything they learn about a student's gender, gender identity, sexuality, etc., within 48 hours of learning it. So say, I don't know, little Susie does not have a good accepting home life, but when she's at school, she wants to be known as he, and would prefer to use the name Sam instead of Susie. The second any adult at the school hears this, they have 48 hours to go back and tell the parents, which, if anybody knows anything, they know that the suicide rate among trans and LGBTQ youth is higher than the national average of not.
Okay, so think about it. Think about it. They want they want the escalation of this to happen. If we get rid of ourselves, if we put ourselves in jail, if we kill ourselves, if we go into hiding and marry men and women heterosexually and do the white picket fence thing, then we go back into hiding and we leave these secret lives and they get rid of us.
Yep. Oh no, that's what they're hoping for, that they'll scare us enough that that'll happen. SB 1694 is basically all about anti-diversity in public entities. It says that public entities don't have to engage in diversity or inclusion or any programs like that. So you can just scrap that.
Shannon says, I really wish Pride organizations would tell, the Republicans that they can't be at the festivals.
They won't, though, because money is money.
They won't. Yeah. And plus, it's supposed to be like a welcoming space for all, and then they would challenge that. And
plus, when you have like Pride organizations and other organizations whose entire board is made up of primarily cisgender or AMAB white people, then why would anybody say anything different? It's like it's the same fucking thing. Like freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences, and I will stick with that. And honestly,
Guido says it's
right wingers, like Log Cabin Republicans,
to a bar mitzvah.
Any Republican candidates and things like that, they should not be allowed to have any sort of booths or anything like that at any sort of Pride events. What's his nuts had a booth at Tucson Pride this year. I can't remember what the hell his name was. The hell's his name? I don't know. Some moron. I can't remember what the hell his name is. Shouldn't have. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, no, like not all money is good money. Sorry, it's not. It's not. And I think it's a bunch of horse shit. But that's only just a few of the bills that are here in Arizona. There's the list is just goes on, and it's hard because people are, what can I do to combat these blatant discriminatory right-wing nut jobs, because that's what they are.
I forgot that was this weekend too until I saw pictures.
Yeah, of course they were.
The log cabin Republicans were at the rodeo too, says Shannon.
Of course they were.
I mean,
it's not okay, and this is part of the reason why so many people have lost trust and faith in these pride organizations. You know, they're so quick to partner with like law enforcement and big money, and you know, it doesn't matter. It's all about the paycheck. That's at the, it's the bottom line, and it's like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure y'all can be, you can afford to be a little more discriminatory, like just.
But I don't know.
But you know, whatever. What do I know? So I saw someone not too long ago basically berating and shaming people who were not able to go to one of the hearings on these bills. Mind you, the hearing was in the middle of the day. And not everybody is able to go. That's a privilege to be able to just dip out of work, you know, leave your day job, take a day off, whatever. Not everybody is able to do that. So the first thing we're not going to do is shame people for not being where you think that they should be at when you think they should be there. So we're not going to do that. You know, if you happen to have the time and you are in a position where you are able to take time off of work and go down to one of these hearings and speak, fantastic. Do that if you can. That's great. I love that people can do that, but not everybody can.
That's somebody we know.
People. Oh. Oh yeah. Yep. Very much so. Very much so.
Today has been exhausting.
This is I almost said something. But I'm like, no, because this person doesn't like being told that they're wrong, so they'll just double down and not listen, because that's what they do every time. So I was like, whatever. So we're not gonna do that. If you can, fantastic, go ahead. But it's hard because when it comes to this stuff, there's very little that anybody can do that'll make an immediate impact. Like we need to make, if we're expecting immediate results, it's not going to be disappointed, because it's not going to happen. We can't. That's not how it works. I'm all about the instant gratification, but for things like this, it's not realistic. So the one thing most all of us can do is write and make calls. And that's something that needs to start happening. We need to start writing bills, write to your senators, write to your governor, call them, like start fucking writing to the White House. Like at this point, just start bombarding these people with information. Like make it impossible to ignore the fact that these bills will actually affect real people.
So it's really, really accessible. It's really accessible. You can, most public officials have like a section of their website or what have you, and you can send like to them. It doesn't go like, I'm sure there's like some kind of assistant reading all of these things.
I'm sure there is.
But most of the time, like if you type in, I live in this section of the county, who's my legislative representative, you'll find it. You click contact, and there's like a form. It says, please send us any feedback or whatever it says. And it's really that easy.
Now, what I'm not saying is do that and be like, you fucking piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. Don't
Oh yeah, let's be professional.
Don't do that. Okay? What needs to happen is it needs to be, you know, this is why this is a problem. This is why this affects me. This is why, you know, it lay it out. Like, tell them why these are problems. Why this, you know, why does this affect you? Why this affects your partner? Why this affects your whatever.
And vote,
Arizona
vote.
is fortunate to have elected Governor Hobbs, because she has said that she's going to veto any of that shit. However, the fact that it's even there is a problem. The fact that the Proud Boys have not been labeled a domestic terrorist group is a problem. The fact that there's like very little recourse at this point for anything that those assholes say or do is a problem. And the fact is that this state, this state in particular, along with many other red states, we've been very complacent. The government is very complacent and often very complicit in the way that people have been treating marginalized communities here. And we know this. Our fucking sheriff was fucking found guilty of the bullshit that Arpaio was pulling. Like, it's not new. We know that this is how this state works. But I encourage you to write to Governor Hobbs and encourage her to work with other governors, to work with our state legislators and be like, this needs to be escalated. This needs to be taken to Washington. Good. People need to be put, like, pressure needs to be put on Washington to make this shit fucking illegal. Period. The fact that these bills that are literally looking to take away people's civil rights, they shouldn't even be a thing. That should, like, it should be absolutely 100% illegal to do this. If somebody was going to be like, okay, we're going to go ahead and say that Black folks can no longer drive.
Oh, well, I don't.
Black folks aren't allowed to purchase any kind of weapons. Black folks are no longer going to be allowed to be able to buy property. Like, these things, if we were to put race into it, oh my God, the people would have a fucking uproar. But because it's not race and because it's the queers and the fags and the trannies and all this shit, ooh, everybody's like, it's fine. Nobody cares. It's fine.
Well, see, and one of the benefits with regards to emailing your local lawmakers and representatives and whatnot is you can actually, you're not face to face with that person directly at that time. So you can take the time to form your words, form your thoughts, put everything out there, and, without, coming off as hostile or anything like that.
Right.
So, I mean, like, there's definitely a benefit to being able to send an email out to these people. And in fact, most of them have their email just right there at the bottom of that website page.
Yep.
If they don't have a little contact form on the website, they usually have a direct email where you can send things.
And it's like, if one or two people send it in, that's one thing. But if hundreds of their constituents start emailing and start sending these things, it's going to be very hard to ignore. So that's what I would encourage everybody to do. And for fuck's sake, vote. Vote in every fucking election. Right now, the I don't do politics, complete bullshit. And it drips with privilege. You not doing politics says, oh, well, this doesn't really affect me, so I don't really care. I just want my fucking Gucci bag.
Yeah.
Or I just want my Prada shoes or whatever the fuck. And that is not gonna fly. That, like, you don't get to say you don't do politics anymore. Like,
okay. So Sean says go to their office, but I say be careful because sometimes they don't let you in, and
right, and then you get hit with like trespass and like it can be.
And sometimes, depending on the level of government, I believe they're in Washington D.C. part of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So, I would be careful with that. Yes. Hello.
Yeah, the Republicans right now have lost their goddamn mind. They've lost their fucking mind.
There's an article out today, out of Alaska about David Eastman, a Republican, who wants funding cut to CPS because it costs more to help abused children. So let them die.
That's like cutting funding to like Medicare and stuff. Like, why the hell not? Just cut that funding. Doesn't matter. They're old. They're abused. Whatever. Let them go. It's a drain on our society.
That's crazy.
Like, these are the Republicans that we're dealing with, and they've all lost their fucking minds. All of them. I
So
don't know.
I didn't
I always find
mind when
myself
we were
wondering, like,
Democrats and Republicans when it was a healthy fight,
yeah,
if that makes any sense.
I
When it was like a healthy fight, like, oh,
right.
I'm fiscally responsible. And then we're like over here, like,
Mm,
oh, I'm liberal and I
right.
love to spend money. Okay, let's do
I
that cute little cat fight. But this has
I feel
gotten just a little too
like, can you
much.
imagine if these like people have children? Like, this is like their legacy.
They
This is
do.
what, like, it blows
Most
my
of them
mind.
do.
Like, these people are gonna, like, the kids are gonna grow up. They're gonna see this shit, and I hope that their kids grow up and have like different mindsets. They're gonna look at this and be like, "Oh my fucking god!" Like, this was my
Two
dad. I'm like,
things
I'd be
just
changing my name. I'd be changing everything. I'd be like, fuck that shit.
two things
Uh,
came to mind. So there was a um, shooting in Michigan. Was it last week? And at Michigan State, right?
yeah, yeah.
So that there was a video of a young lady that experienced the shooting at Sandy Hook, if I'm not mistaken. She was at a school shooting. I'm not sure which school shooting it was, and that's sad. And she was calling for action in her video, but um, there have been tweets and things that I've seen that um, that are people that are representatives are not taking that person very serious. So I feel like I've been saying this for years. The uproar of the Parkland kids, the uproar of the Sandy Hook kids is coming, and they will find a way to find their justice and their peace. Um, Another bit of news. Never have I ever, like, I cancel people in my mind and I just say, you know what, I'll just leave it alone. I've never really liked, well, I liked Jeffree Star before I had met him. And then I met him and I did not like my experience. More recently, he has come out and said that uh, non-binary people, they, them, is what we came up with during the pandemic because we were bored in our house and it's a piece of shit. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, um, I want to send out a word of echo. When you buy a product, just like we were talking about last week, when you buy a product, when you buy uh, just a lipstick, when you do, or you say, you know, um, you're
Well,
giving
they're a trash
power to
human, but oh
those
my
that,
god, I love this lipstick.
yeah.
I mean,
And
like
so,
I used to support the Jeffree Star brand, a number of years ago. But then as soon as I started learning about some of the things he had done in his past and some of the things that he continues to do to this day, I was like, no, I can't continue to support it. Now, did I go out and burn all of my makeup? No. I'm going to use what I've already
You already
spent
have it.
money
That's
on.
it's no reason to like you.
The money is already in his pocket from
Right.
that sale. But am I going to support his brand any further? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Easy.
those are two things that came to my mind. I was like, wow, what a trash human. Basically, I don't know. I feel like Jeffree Star is kind of like the epitome of like a non-binary person, and here he is saying
Right.
"fuck
Right.
them." Okay,
Speaking of trash humans, she who shall not be named now has a podcast with a former member of the Westboro Baptist Church. Oh
no,
yes, she does. It's called The Witch Trials of. I don't even want to say her fucking name.
okay,
Because of course she needs yet another platform to spew her bullshit. Okay, here's my advice: do not listen to it. Don't listen to it. Don't give them the satisfaction of giving them the listens, of the downloads, of anything. Just don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it. Don't listen to it. Don't nothing. Just don't. Know that it's out there and know that they're going to like it's the witch trials, because that's what everybody's doing, and the witch hunt, which is complete a crock of shit. But yeah, don't even check it out just to kind of like see what it's. Just don't.
oh,
They don't
wonderful.
need the views. They don't need the viewership. They don't need the listens. They don't need to think. They just don't do it. Don't do it.
We need the
It's not
views
worth it.
though. Like,
Not worth
comment,
it.
and subscribe.
Right. We do need, yes. You
We
can
need it.
us just
Send
put
it
on
here.
the thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of not trash humans,
Yeah.
this is our guest, Holly Shoemaker.
Yes.
Which I'm excited. Both Felicia and I have had a chance to work with Holly on a couple of different projects, and like you've said, she's just kind of a ridiculous artist and extraordinarily talented, and it's really stupid, and I really don't
And
like
her house is a museum.
The things that she does, it's really stupid. But tell us about yourself. How did you get where you are today?
Who the hell are you anyway?
All right.
Who am I? I don't even know who I am. Are you kidding me?
That's fine. Neither do
Most
we.
days
It's
I
fine.
wake up and I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. So, let's see. I mean, like, how far do we want to go into this?
Whatever you would like to share.
Well, I was
Share with the class.
I was born in Pennsylvania, in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. And then my family made the move to northwestern Missouri, to a town of 5,000 farmers, basically, called Savannah, Missouri.
Yeah.
And
that sounds scary by itself.
Oh, it's awful. I hate it. I'm probably going to go back for my 20-year reunion this year, though.
No, that's
so, it's one of those things to where, like, obviously I had a few friends there and for the most part, these are people that I'm still friends with to this day. And
that's got to be sort of an interesting,
and the thing is like most of those people who I am still friends with to this day have moved, far and away from Savannah.
Eddie Omega says that I want that show on the CW. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Savannah, Missouri. Yes,
Savannah, Missouri. Or if you go with like the Missouri sort of pronunciation of things, a lot of people say Missouri, and that is something that's always absolutely just driven me up the wall. No,
wow,
sorry. But so I grew up there, went to school there, and I pretty much lived there until about 12 years ago.
Oh, and you ended up here,
and then I ended up here in Phoenix. And
how did that hurt?
Well, see, and the thing is, I mean, like, I absolutely loved it. And like in Missouri, I had the red hair, and I dressed the way that I dressed for the most part, and I had people trying to start fights with me in the parking lot of a Family Dollar.
Oh. Quality establishments. Quality establishments.
That's no joke. And then, like, some lady, like, just looked at me and was like, "What, bitch? What?" And I'm just like, "Can we just take it down here? Why do we have to?" I'm just trying to get my laundry detergent so I can go home, y'all. Just simmer down. But then within my first week of living here, there was this little old lady in the grocery store, and she stopped me and she goes, "Oh, honey, I just love your hair. If I was just a few years younger, I'd be doing something just like that." And I was like, "I'm home."
So weird to say.
We thank that little old lady. We thank that little old lady for you being here.
Oh, and it's so funny, like, how accepting people have been of me here versus the Midwest, because at best in the Midwest they'd be like, "Oh yeah, well, she's really creative, but she's fucking weird." Which, I mean, I am weird, but
I mean,
I feel like people.
I still say it.
Have you always
like a good, endearing way?
Like, because you do everything. Like, you create costumes and shit. You do all of this shit. Like, have you just always
making me sick sometime? I'm like, you made that?
Well, I mean, like between, I mean, like I would, I had a sketchbook as a kid, and I was always stealing my parents' camera to go take pictures of the horses because it was like our house, an alleyway, and then a huge open pasture, and next to that was a pasture where they were the Duncan family, and the Duncan family would provide like all of those gigantic horses that they have in parades.
Oh, like the Clydesdales.
Yes, and like I would go over
Oh.
there and take pictures of the horses, and get in trouble for crawling under the barbed wire fence. It's fine.
Interesting.
But because of that part of the country, there aren't a whole lot of creative outlets available. So,
Mm.
and this was a time before like Etsy was a big thing,
Right.
or what have you. So it's a matter of you have to learn how to make these things yourself in order to get the end result that you want. Because you can't just it's not readily available, and you can't just go out and get it or hit up one of your friends and be like, hey, do you know how to do this?
So just out of necessity, basically.
Basically, it's one of those things into where it's like you take that creative desire, and because it's a necessity, you're able to kind of channel that into the thing to make the thing.
And personally, I'm really glad there's things like Etsy because I can do some things, other things not so much. So
Etsy is
okay,
my
so
bestie.
I know I'm a fan of Etsy. I like Etsy a lot. So folks may not realize this, but you're completely self-taught photographer.
Yes.
Like which is gross.
You're just so amazing.
Just it's.
Well, I mean, in recent years, I've certainly started kind of looking into different tutorials and ways to like continue to grow and change as a photographer. But starting out, it was a matter of people were like, "Oh, how did you get into photography?" I'm like, "I bought a camera."
You're like the Scottsdale moms that like they bought a camera so they could take a picture of like their kid's first birthday, and they're like, I'm a photographer.
Oh.
Funny enough, my first photo shoot, because I got my camera, I scrimped and saved for months and months and months to get this camera and lens, and it was like $600 for the camera body and a 50mm lens. And this was 17 years ago. So
did it still have film?
And I was working
was it digital.
No, it was digital. It was but it was one of those things into where I was pretty much working minimum wage.
Oh God! So
that time.
You're right, trying to save up for like a $600 camera.
I was working in a buffet restaurant.
Oh,
oh, classy! I love that.
So I got this camera, and it started out how most people who get a new camera, I'm taking pictures of plants and flowers.
Right.
And,
you play with the different settings and see what things do, and
right.
I get it.
That's what I did with mine.
Our next door neighbor in the apartment complex I was living in at the time, she had the cutest little girl named Maddie. And Maddie was hilarious. She was like 2 years old, speaking in full sentences and cussing. All the time.
Wow.
There was one time she was running around the parking lot, fell over and goes, shit. So
why do I feel like if you ever had a baby like that would be
my
child.
But my uterus is on perpetual lockdown, so that's not happening. But so Maddie one day was playing and trying to get my attention, and she peeked through the snap. What are they called?
Blinds.
No,
curtains.
on a stairwell.
Like the railings.
Yeah, it's
things,
basically the railings that go like this on a stairwell. She walks over, peeks her little head through it, and I snap a photo, And it is the most adorable fucking thing I've ever seen at that point in time. And I'm like, you know what? This is what I want to do with my life.
So you went from snapping 2-year-olds
To
to not snapping so much 2-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Tell us about that.
How did you like transition from like how did I mean, you're creative anyway, but you do a lot, like you have a very recognizable style when it comes to your photography. Like you really do. Like your style it's very you, it's very recognizable, and you have like it's a signature style basically. Like it regardless of whatever it is that you're shooting, you can look at it and be like, oh, Holly totally shot that. Like even your softer ones, like you still have a very, very recognizable style. Like how did you kind of, I guess, evolve into like, oh wow, like look at this shit, like look at like I tweaked this little setting here and now look at this, like, you know what I mean? Like this
and that's really all it is just tweaking things and messing around with them until you're happy with the way it looks. And then you start to kind of you find a lighting style that you like, or a backdrop that you prefer, or an editing style you like, and you just it's something that develops over time to where you just kind of find yourself in having this sort of signature style.
I'm gonna throw this out there because I know that there's people that may be watching and be like, oh, I totally a photographer, I have like an iPhone and I can like do this. I'm gonna say this. I watch a lot of like true crime dramas, a lot of medical dramas and things. Me watching medical dramas and like forensic shows does not mean that I am qualified, nor do I have the skills to be like a forensic pathologist. Just gonna throw that out there. So just because you may enjoy photography doesn't necessarily mean that you are a photographer. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
You could have just told me after the show. You could have just told me after the show. That's so rude.
I'm just like I know that being a photographer takes a certain eye, it takes a certain skill, and
it takes patience, especially if
it absolutely takes patience.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, like, retouching for one is like the most tedious part of any photo shoot. And if you are seriously someone who wants to really try delving into photography, you need to, some things that you need to be aware of. And like, you need to invest in some decent equipment, invest in some decent lighting, get to know your equipment. And when it comes to editing and retouching, you have to be able to pay attention to the smallest of details. If there is a if there is a dead pixel in the backdrop, you have to edit that out. If they have a pimple, if they have a scratch, or something like that, it's one of those things to where you have to pay attention to such tiny details that when you're taking a selfie with your phone, you don't really pay as much attention to
composition. And the only reason I know anything about photography, honestly, is because I happen to date a professional photographer with like a degree in photography. She taught photography. The only reason I know anything about it is because I'm not a photographer, but like composition is huge. Like you can't just be like, okay, here's a picture and things are like, you have like a weird thing in the background over here. You have like the way that you have like power lines that look like they're going through somebody's head.
Or you have like this, sort of like boudoir, sort of photo where, it's like this, sexy girl on a couch, and then there is a big glaring outlet right in the backdrop. It's just like, no.
Like composition actually, like these things matter, and these are things that like you have to take the time to actually look at, and you have to like see them. If you don't see them, then you won't know. It's like, oh no, we have to figure out, let me fix this over here, let me put this over here. Like it's about framing, it's about all these things. And like I could take a picture of somebody, but I'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like and you have a knack for catching people in like just the right instant. Like, I think one of my favorite pictures of myself is that one.
Oh, when you were laughing.
And you caught me laughing. And it's like, it was for your Sticks and Stones.
Well, see, but
and
funny
that
enough,
was, like,
with those photos, one of my favorite outtakes from that photo shoot is when I accidentally traumatized you.
Uh-oh.
Yes. There was an instance where I have this really kind of dark, weird, fucked up sense of humor sometimes. Like a lot.
Huh.
And I was,
Uh-huh.
in an effort to get a laugh out of Freddy, I started telling him the story of this guinea pig.
Oh, God! The fucking guinea pig! Ah!
So I have, like, a couple of outtake photos where poor Freddy is just, like,
Is it that face?
traumatized.
That face next to you?
No, I mean, like, it was even worse. It was like...
Wow, I wish I was there for this.
Oh, but see, now I tell the story about accidentally traumatizing you to other people to get them to laugh.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that I can be of service and be helpful in your photography endeavors. Oh, my God. So, is it fair to say that the Sticks and Stones was one of your biggest projects?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that's a fair statement. And little bit of teaser info for something. I am actually planning to bring it back this April.
Ooh.
As a 2-year anniversary sort of situation.
Has it been 2 years already?
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Damn.
Well, damn.
So, yeah, it's wild how time flies. And I mean, like, with that, with the opening night of that show, that in itself was wild because not only was it like 105.
Oh my God, that
day,
shit. It's fine. It'll be cool.
Well,
what the fuck it will.
Okay, I have been keeping an eye on the weather, like, just so we, could be prepared for anything.
Prepare for what?
For like, as far as like heat or wind or rain or
it was hot
whatever.
as fuck.
It was, and the entire time up until the day before the show, it was saying it was going to be 95.
Okay, that's not cool.
But that's
not
105.
Cool. Okay, it's still not cool at all. If it were 70 or below, that is cool. 95 is not cool.
What sort of delusional world are you living in where September in Arizona equals 75?
I don't know. You're telling me it was going to be cool. I'm like, oh,
no,
cool.
I said it was going to be cooler.
That shit was awful. That was.
Ooh, somebody says they can confirm.
Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely ridiculous. Oh, can confirm on that. I've absolutely told Tony the guinea pig story.
Guinea pig story.
Yes.
Oh damn.
It's cool.
But was that ridiculous? Other than it being ridiculous, it was a really great night.
It was fantastic.
And we had a crowd of over COVID, and that was like that they had to put on with regards to like COVID restricting. So, and by the end of the night, we ended up at capacity with people who like resonated with it in one form or another, and that is just something so incredible. I went home that night and I was super emotional.
It was crazy. Like the everybody that showed up and people were just like emotional and like looking at all the different pictures and like it was absolutely insane. And and since then, like it's been picked up by like different publishing things and media outlets and all sorts of shit. Like that's like,
I unexpectedly went viral on Reddit for like a day and a half just a few weeks ago.
just how random, just whatever.
Yeah, no,
2 years after the fact, like what?
It's so crazy. Well, and it was just one of those moments to where I shared the story to Reddit. I didn't give any of my personal information other than the name of the photo series. And from there, like Reddit detectives checked in and were just like, I found her website.
That's awesome.
Okay. And what
oh my God.
Is there was around a dozen people, who were commenting in that particular Reddit thread who were outside of the US
Damn.
who had heard of the photo series.
That's crazy.
And like I had people from Scotland, Ireland, London, Australia. I mean, like it was.
We're very big in Cambodia.
Hey, Cambodia.
Apparently.
I have no idea.
So, do you have any other like? You don't have to like disclose details, but do you have any other like big projects like that on the horizon? Anything coming down the pike that you're like, I want to make this, and I want to make this blow the fuck up?
At this point in time, I can't really say that I have any big plans. Usually, my big plans are kind of spur of the moment.
That
like
makes sense.
Sticks and Stones was something that
I remember when that happened.
Spurred from me just being a petty ass.
I remember. I remember when all of that shit went down. You were like, "Oh my god, this bitch!" It was like I remember when all of that went down, and like, yeah, that was crazy.
Can we talk about speaking of this bitch, but you as an activist, as like especially after Roe versus Wade got overturned and we started going to like the hissy fit, you said, no, I'm going to create art for this. And can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure. That photo series was called Keep Your Hands Off of My Body. And it involved, I believe we had 27 AFAB individuals in Arizona who came together in groups of anywhere from 5 to 7 people. And there was, one person would be the central focus. And then the hands from everyone else would come into the photo and kind of dig into the skin. And they're kind of just trying to break away from it because, and it's one of those situations to where we shouldn't have to fight for our bodily autonomy.
You weren't able to snag any trans men for that, were you?
No, I was not able to get any trans men on board for it. And there were even a few people who questioned because it would involve me working the remote shutter and
I think you meant me.
Oh, you. Yeah, why didn't you do it? Oh, I didn't. I thought we were friends.
Sorry, my bizzle. Next time, I have to do with whatever. Then I'll
But yeah, it's just the idea of like at this point in time in history, we have to fight for our bodily autonomy, and it's disgusting. And my whole outlook on it is just like, why do you care? Why do you care so much? Why do you care what somebody else is doing with their life?
They don't. It's just about control. That's the whole thing. They don't give a fuck.
I'm going to say something potentially controversial.
Yeah. We never say anything controversial on the show. What are you talking about?
I mean,
we've never said anything controversial here.
I think that most of our issues in this country come right back to Christianity.
Oh yeah, that's not controversial.
Well, I mean, just maybe to some people who may be listening, that's a controversial opinion on things, but it's one of those things into where you can look at almost any situation where people are fighting for what in other countries are considered basic rights and bring it right back to Christianity, and specifically old white Christian men who think they are entitled to something.
Yep. No, that's absolutely spot on. We've said that before, that it's all these people themselves Christians are the like least Christian acting people ever.
Yeah, one of my favorite phrases is there's no hate like Christian love.
Yep. This is true. And I won't even, at this point, I don't even apologize. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. If you're offended by it, then you need to check that with your fellow Christians, not us. Because literally, I mean, not even, look through history. Pretty much everything stems from Christianity, from the witch trials, the Inquisition, you name it. It all has the bases in Christians trying to inflict themselves on others. So it's,
I mean, like,
But don't push your agenda on me.
right.
Oh yeah, don't go and shove your leftist liberal
Right.
propaganda down my throat. And it's like, so there's a term for this, and it's called projection.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's one of those things. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you as a person find like peace and comfort from Christianity, that's amazing. I am ecstatic for you that you are able to find that level of peace and comfort in your life. But the moment that you start dictating to others that you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, or you're going to burn in hell forever, that becomes a problem.
Right.
Following a faith that works for you is great.
If you find joy in some whatever organized religion, great. That's fantastic. But the second that spills over into other people's lives, that's where the problem is. And that's unfortunately what always happens, is that it always happens. It's like they just can't not. They always just they can't just shut the hell up. Like they can't just be happy in their faith and just do what they do and worship how they want to worship. It always has to be like, laws. Well, I'm doing this, so you have to do it too. Right. Otherwise, you're wrong. Right. Like it's just.
Hey, it's you.
Hey, it's me. Oh my God. So all right, where can people find you, stalk you on all of your socials, all the things?
So I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, and I do have my own website itself. If people are looking to exclusively just look at my photography, my website is going to be the best bet.
Okay.
And then
and your website is
it is
you have to look it up.
Of course I have to look it up because it's like a Wix website, or
you have to look
something. It's one of the. If you find my Instagram, which is right there, so my Instagram has my link tree. My link tree has links to everything.
I still don't have a link tree. I don't.
Ooh, website.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. Look at Negative Edge Photography.
Yeah. That's me.
Oh my God. Okay, so go to Holly's Instagram, go back to the Instagram so everybody can see what that is.
It's Holly.
Oh, that's us. Sorry, got distracted.
So it's a Holly Masquerade. So like masquerade, but with a G instead of the D.
Got it. So here you go.
Oh.
Go to the Instagram, go to the link tree, do all the following, all the things. And Holly does specials pretty much every month for random themes that she pulls out of her ass, because why the hell not? So keep an eye on those. We've done a few of those, like my partner and I, and it's always a good time. Like I remember we did the zombie one last year, and as we were leaving her house, I said very loudly while covered in blood, "Thanks for dinner!"
It was pretty great. And we had like brand new neighbors at that point in time too. And they have this huge sort of bay window that was open, and here's G and Freddy just walking by the open bay window going, "Bye, thanks for dinner."
It was, it's a good way to get them used to the neighborhood.
It's fine.
Just saying, So.
But brain no work.
But yes, the project, like specials, yes.
Yeah, so the next one that I have coming up is going to be for March, and it is going to be a roulette special for my birthday. And the way that roulette specials work is you book the session not knowing what you're going to get. She may give you like guidelines, like wear a black tank top or something that you don't mind getting dirty or something, but you really won't know what the hell you're getting into until you get there.
Yeah, it's fun. I highly recommend it. It's always fun. I like.
It sounds like a grinder hookup.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, basically, but for photos.
Far more satisfying. Way more satisfying. I'm gonna throw that out there.
You don't have to worry about having a pleasant ending.
Right.
Oh boy.
It's fun. It's good. It's a good time. So definitely keep an eye on specials that Holly has coming up. Follow all of the socials. Get in on that shit. Book her for your photo sessions. I still want to like get our family together for like a weird, creepy, like
I'm here
like
for it.
Christmas one for like holiday cards at some point. Like,
Well, I mean,
that out.
yeah, it's one of those things to where like I can do, I specialize in creative portraiture, but I also do things like maternity and newborn and weddings. A lot of people forget that I actually do weddings.
That's because they see this
because they see this and they're like, oh yeah, that's who I want to book for my wedding.
I don't know that I've ever seen anything that you've done for a wedding.
Oh no, I'll show you.
It's funny.
I
don't doubt it. I'm just like that. I mean, granted, you probably aren't the first person I would think of for a wedding photographer, just because of what I've seen you. And but that's not because you're not talented, but because I just
here we go.
Think it's fine. It's fine.
There we go. Yeah, that's right.
And see, even with your wedding photography, you can look at it and be like, oh, totally a fucking Holly thing. Like that's like you could absolutely see because you have a very certain style. Like, well, look at you doing like vanilla photography.
Very sweet photography. I don't know what you're talking
about. Not to be rude, but they don't look very happy.
Oh, that's actually my sister-in-law and her dad.
He does not look happy that he's walking down the aisle.
No, he's a good guy from what I understand. I've only met him a couple times, but he's always been very nice. And that's my brother.
Oh. See, look, you can hire Holly for all the things.
Yep, and that's my aunt and my little cousin Preston. Well, I say little cousin. He's in his 20s now.
That's adorable.
And then my
she needs new wedding photos, is what she's saying.
Yeah, last wedding I did was last wedding I did was about 6 years ago.
No. Somebody hire Holly so that she can update her wedding portfolio.
Just don't hire me for a wedding in the summer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now you're particular.
Right. Oh yeah, I 100%. Yeah, I can be particular.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
With that being said, I'm done.
So go follow Holly. Take advantage of the specials that she has every month, which she does literally all year long. Like it.
Sometimes they're surprises. Sometimes they're like
totally
surprises.
worth it. Totally worth it. Do it. Do all the things. Support Holly. Support your local artists. If there's things that you like, buy prints because prints are good and we like doing art things.
Right now, both Eric and I have stuff inside the Allman House Gallery.
Oh.
And this Friday, if you are looking for something to do, the Pain Proof Punks, my besties troupe, are doing a show at Allman House.
Subtle.
And,
you see how that
during the cool weather?
Like
during the cool weather? During the cool weather?
I tried to get a different day scheduled, but
I have never sweated like that in drag before.
I'm so sorry.
I literally poured water on myself.
Seriously, I was doing the same thing. I was about to overheat.
Oh, it was so bad.
God, I didn't have to wear a binder. Like I would have died.
And like it was also one of those things too where Dom. This was right before Dom's top surgery,
right?
And I'm also we've got burlesque performers that have pasties on and
everybody's just
so I'm backstage. I'm trying to paint on one performer for Irene for her last number. And tape is getting undone on Dom, so I'm having to like pull back and
it was awful. It was miserable. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. Everything else was great. That portion of it, the heat, that shit was not the
heat was just awful.
I'm still writing the Yelp review 2 years later.
I know, seriously.
Still writing the Yelp review.
All right, what gigs do we have coming up, Felicia?
Skip it. This is. Oh, well, so if you did not see the virtual drag story hour on Sunday, on February 25th, I believe that's Saturday, there will be a replay of it, a more edited down version, so you don't have to like listen to me rambling.
Oh, I gotta watch reruns now? What the fuck?
I mean, you weren't there. You were at some fair or something, so...
Correct, I was, yes.
So
and we're actually
that.
going to be at the fair also on the 25th.
You son of a bitch. You did this on purpose.
I did. I see you enough. I don't need to see you.
Felicia. You're like, she's on there. They'll save the video,
fine.
I'm sure. They'll do
Fine.
something.
Go
They'll do
back
something
to
with
it.
that.
Fine.
And then on Sunday, I like to torture myself, and this will be the second weekend that I'll torture myself. So I'll have the Supernova pageant at 4 at the Rock, and that's Supernova Ultimate Star. Look it up if you want to figure out why the name has changed. Anyway, and then we have Magic at Stacy's at 8 o'clock on Sunday.
And for me, for those of you that were going to do the Drag Story Hour bingo at the Drink Me Tea Room on the 4th, that's been rescheduled to, or the 2nd, that's been rescheduled to May. So we'll get that info out. I don't know why they decided to reschedule it, but they decided to reschedule it. So May 4th is the new date for that. We'll be getting all that info out later because it's a while away, but it's not to worry about it. And then March 10th, which is only about 17 days away. Fuck my life. Totally prepared.
Totally.
Is Wild Wild West Con in Tucson. And March 10th is the drag and burlesque show that is happening. It's gonna be a good time. You can get tickets to the show without going to the con. So if you are unable to attend the con and you still want to go see the show, you can do that, but I would recommend doing it soon. And that should be great. March 17th, we are back at Cat Bingo. Whoopee. At La Guitarra. That'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then April, I am heading to Austin for ramen. Oh, and also the Austin International Drag Festival. That as well, yes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that sounds a little weird.
I forgot that's it. I'm just priorities. It's fine.
And then in June, we're gonna be back at Fan Fusion, Phoenix Fan Fusion.
We are. That's gonna be so much fun. We need to get everybody going on it's going a slightly different direction. I'll give you more details as we get a little bit closer, but it should be a damn good show. So if y'all are going to Fan Fusion, make sure that you go on that Friday and make sure you stick around for the shows.
Yes. Upcoming guests, we have a lot in the waiting area. We just need people to confirm. I don't like when people don't confirm. It makes me a little bit nauseous. Because then I'll ask like several times, and then I feel like a car salesman after a while.
I stop asking. I'm like, I'll ask you a couple times, and then if you don't get back to me, I'm like, okay, well, whatever.
But then I see you post on social media, and I'm like, oh, but I see you post on social media, so
right. It's like,
anyway, but a person that confirmed right away. On March 8th, we have Desiree A. DeMornay, Miss Phoenix Pride, coming on. I'll probably have to double check that to make sure.
Yeah, I would she may need to reschedule depending. But
yes.
Yeah. So
but yes. Thank you all for tuning in for your Wednesday night conversation. You're more than welcome to produce more story hours if you're worried about let me.
I mean, that's fine. I'll send you an invoice. I did 5 story hours this month. Here you go. It's
Jesus Christ. Special thanks to our special guest, Holly Shoemaker.
Yeah.
For joining us tonight. Be sure to check out all the things Holly does. There's other artistries that she has not talked about, but we didn't get into it. The oddities and the what is that? Like the food. Yeah, that has me all in a yeah, I'm like,
Hey,
oh
maybe
my
if y'all
God.
subscribe to our Patreon, maybe we'll talk about it in the after chat.
Yeah. And thank you to all of you who watch live and those that don't mind watching reruns. Jerk. Um, and those that listen to our podcast, because there's more people that listen to our podcast than watch us. So what's that telling us? We're almost at 10,000 downloads. Can we do it?
Wow.
So
exciting.
send it to your friends, send it to your mom, send it to your worst enemy because we want them to listen as well.
Send it to your senators, send it to all the right-wing nut jobs. We're fine with
Yes.
that. They'll just give us views.
And yes, big shout out to Brick Road Coffee in the city of Tempe. We will see you next week for your Wednesday night conversation. Good
night.